Lessons. The amount of lessons to be learned from this one show, from this one character. I really never thought I'd be this in love with an anime/manga in my life. Listen, if you're like me and the art of self-development intrigues you, and you've been obsessed with the philosophy that surrounds what turns a boy into a man, what turns a man into a king, in the creed of stoicism, well then two things are about to happen. One, you're absolutely gonna love this video if you've read the title. And two, if you haven't already, you're probably gonna hit that motherfucking like button because you guys are the best audience I could ever ask for. Vinland Saga, Mappa Studios, thank you so much for the slavery y'all go through. For those living under a rock, Vinland Saga is a historical action anime series set in the 11th century AD during a time when Vikings were raiding and settling in England. The story follows the journey of Thorfinn, a young boy who seeks revenge against Askeladd, the Viking leader who killed his father. Along the way, Thorfinn becomes entangled in a larger conflict between the English and the Danes, as well as within the Viking community itself. As the anime progresses, Thorfinn's character evolves and he begins to question the nature of violence and revenge, and more so, begins to question the nature of reality. He encounters new allies and enemies, each with their own motives and desires, and navigates through complex political and personal relationships. Vinland Saga is a character-driven story that explores themes such as honor, duty, betrayal, and redemption. The series features intense and brutal battle scenes as well as moments of emotional depth and reflection. And again, shout out to Mappa for the stunning visuals they always perform. Season 2 visuals have been top tier. Thorfinn speaks to me personally for a plethora of reasons, but whether you've read the manga or you're only caught up with the anime, there is an entire goldmine of revelations that Thorfinn gives off as a character, especially as he later grows into the absolute embodiment of stoicism. Now obviously, focus is a dire part of anyone's self-development journey, and no matter what context it is being used in, killer, unwavering, unbreakable focus will always deliver dramatically powerful results. On Patreon in the Itachi Uchiha course, we delve into this, and in the Sasuke Uchiha course, we have a whole module dedicated to the prioritization of building unwavering focus. This is because focus is one of the most crucial attributes that will make or break your future success, but I want to speak specifically on Thorfinn. Focus is a fundamental aspect of Stoicism because it is closely tied to the concept of self-control, which is central to Stoic philosophy. Attention control is a major branch on the tree of Stoicism. Stoics believe that individuals should focus on what they can control, such as their own thoughts, emotions, and actions, rather than becoming overly concerned with external circumstances or events beyond their control. By focusing solely on what is within their power, individuals can develop a sense of inner peace and stability, as now, external distractions become burdens lifted off of your shoulders. If you've watched season 1 of Vinland Saga, without a shadow of a doubt, one of the biggest traits I picked up from Thorfinn is his unmovable focus towards his goals. Thorfinn in season 1 of Vinland Saga heavily reminds me of one of my other favorite characters of all time, Sasuke Uchiha. Though unfortunately driven by hatred, I noticed they both relate in their ironclad unmovable focus, which was perpetually driven by this unmovable determination to get revenge. Both characters had their loved ones slain in front of their very eyes, and it was this deep dark tragedy that chained their attention to a purpose that was possessed by the need to avenge the loss of their loved ones. I don't advocate for your life to be driven by hatred, but what drove their mission is besides the point. I want you guys to take a look at the ironclad levels of focus they possessed in order to go after their missions. Thorfinn's attention locked on to Askeladd like a torpedo en route to destroy its target. Thorfinn became obsessed, unmovable, unshakable, his thoughts and attention in a single threaded line pointing directly towards one single objective. In the art of Stoicism, laser beam focus is paramount for success in life. Without the ability to direct one's attention onto a single objective, you become tossed and disjointed as an individual. One of my favorite scriptures from the Bible is James 1:6. But let him ask in faith with no doubting, for the one who doubts is like a wave of the sea that is driven and tossed by the wind. Thorfinn understood this, and you must as well. When you take action, always be direct and clear as to your objective. Without focus, you can no longer be definite in your movements or your purpose. Okay, so Marcus Aurelius, one of the most important Stoic writers in human history, once wrote, "You have the power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this and you will find strength." Marcus was a genius in which, like Sun Tzu, he was able to say what seems like the most basic lines, but as you grow with wisdom, you realize those simple lines contain so much life wisdom. What Marcus was alluding to is a powerful secret that Thorfinn eventually stumbled upon throughout his journey so far, which is you must focus solely on the one thing you have complete control over, which is your mind and by extension, your emotions. Spoiler alert. So, there is a black and white difference between Season 1 Thorfinn and Season 2. Though I spoke highly of Thorfinn's focus muscle in Season 1, he was still childlike in his control over his emotions. His deep desire for revenge caused him to move recklessly and hardly think things through fully. Nothing was in his eyes but pure hatred. It was only once mindfulness and deep self-awareness became an intricate part of his daily routine was Thorfinn able to see how much he was being led down a path that would never allow him to perform at his highest capabilities. Through deep contemplation, Thorfinn's eyes opened to the sheer power and potential that comes from being able to control one's emotions. Thorfinn could see with clarity how very few human beings possess dominion over their emotions, and more so how this lack of control over the flesh consequently breeded all the pain and suffering that surrounded him in the real world and in his own life. It was this purity of consciousness that allowed Thorfinn to become ironclad over his emotions and build dominion over his flesh, and go off to do all the powerfully amazing things we will be covering throughout this Vinland Saga series. This is an introduction to one of my favorite characters in anime history and the lessons that surround his genius ability as a character and protagonist of the anime Vinland Saga. This series will contain, in my opinion, some of the most valuable lessons on life and reality, and of course, a practical guide to becoming our highest versions. If you found this video valuable, be sure to drop a like and let me know your thoughts on Thorfinn or what you observed and garnered from watching Vinland Saga, and also what specific video topics you would like to be covered during this series. Be sure to check out the Millennial Kingdom Patreon for more, and let me know what other characters you would like for me to do a video on in the future. This is MK Brad. I'll see you guys in the next one. I'm super excited for this series. Peace.